Welcome to Housing for Good, a podcast dedicated to housing topics and issues affecting our communities in McPherson County and beyond. With years of experience and expertise, hosts Chris Goodson and Karolyn Moore discuss housing challenges and opportunities with other experts from a variety of housing fields.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Housing for Good. I'm Karolyn.
And I'm Chris.
Okay, Chris, this is going to be unusual.
It is going to be unusual.
Just you and me talking. Mm-hmm. This is our Christmas special, air quotes, Christmas special.
Yes. So I thought it'd be fun today to kind of recap some of the visitors that we've had. What has it been since August? I don't remember when we started this podcast, but I thought it'd be kind of fun before we forget who the different people were, and then how it's connected to housing. So people ask sometimes, well, why are you having this person or that person?
Yeah.
Does that really have anything to do with housing? Well, it's all connected. And so today for our Christmas special, so hope everybody has a great Christmas.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm excited.
Merry Christmas.
I'm excited for that. So, but we thought it'd be fun to recap everybody who's been on the podcast so far. So let's go.
You know, when you started putting this list together, I'm like, oh my gosh, there are so many conversations that we have had. Okay, so Michael Golden, the chief of police for McPherson. He was our very first one.
I love him.
I do too. And you know what stuck out to me is he is a person who knows what somebody struggling with housing has gone through. And he makes sure that his police officers, I think, are informed. They don't approach this with any kind of criminalization. That is not what they want to do. They are looking for ways to help them. And through our conversations with him, we are now part of another group that is trying to figure out how do we help those people coming out of incarceration? How do we work towards getting them housed?
Yeah, that's a big deal because a lot of times they end up committing other crimes because they have no place to go.
Exactly.
So if you commit a minor crime, you end up in jail, you know where you're going to sleep, and you know you're going to get food.
Yeah.
And shelter and heat and all those other things. So it makes sense why sometimes they do other crimes is because of that. But he was really fun. He was our first guest, and he was really fun and just real open and honest about his own life history and some of the things. And we were very fortunate here to have somebody like him as our chief of police.
Yeah. Another one that was kind of one of our first few that we talked with was Cody Ryerson, the Moundridge superintendent. You know, I found it very, very, just heartwarming that he is such a person, such a man, that he had a janitor struggling. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And the janitor went to him and said, look, I'm struggling with this. And they gave him a place to stay.
They made it available where he could, that person, I don't remember who it was, but whether that person could stay there if they needed to and have a warm place for their kids and be safe. And then, you know, he's willing to just do anything in his school district from driving a bus to whatever they need. So that was pretty amazing when you think about all these really awesome people that live within our county.
Yeah. Yep. I absolutely love it. Connie Grinnan with Meals on Wheels was another one that really stood out to me. And do you remember her conversation about the condition of the house?
Yes, and she was telling all these landlords, please fix your steps because it's not safe for my volunteers to get them into the home to help our seniors, let alone for them to be able to go in and out. So that was amazing. And the amount of people that they were feeding every day was incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, just how much it's grown since she's been at the helm. And so, and again, you know, all of these issues all come back to housing. If you don't have housing, you're going to struggle in all of these issues. Amy with Safe Project was another very enlightening conversation just in how they help people that are facing domestic violence and how they work to help them. And by the way, in the new year, we're going to have her come back.
I know.
And she's going to talk to us. Again, we're going to continue that conversation on domestic violence and housing and how do we help people that find themselves in that situation, whether you're a man or a woman. So.
Yeah, I'm excited about having part 2 of that, you know, talking to people about, you know, what if you are going to leave? What does that look like? Mm-hmm. What do you do? Can you prepare? Because a lot of times people stay in that situation because, quite honestly, they have no place to go.
Yeah.
And if they do leave, the person that they're with has convinced everybody that they're this great person, and so nobody believes them.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to have her back as well, to try to get that information out there to the public. Is what do I do if I find myself in this situation? How do I leave? Where do I go? Who do I call?
Yeah.
So that's really important. And again, this is all tied back to housing. Every single thing we've done may sound like it's really nothing to do with housing and why do we care about it? Well, it's all interconnected because people need a safe place to be.
Exactly. One thing that we talked about, you and I, one of our very first recordings had to do with our programs and what we're doing. The Oak Harbor Emergency Shelter Cottages and how we built those. How did you do that? We get asked that all the time.
All the time.
How did you do that?
So today I was talking to a group of people and they said, well, nobody really knows what that is. And I was like, how is that even possible that people don't know what the Oak Harbor Cottages or what we're doing? I mean, we've been on television. We have our podcast. We've been in 3 national magazines.
We've been in every church in town.
We've been in all the churches. We've been to these groups that everybody has. I'm like, what are we supposed to do here? I mean, I guess we could drive down the street with like a bullhorn or something and yell what we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. But so if you know what we do or if you don't know what we do, call us.
Yeah.
And let us explain to you exactly what McPherson Housing Coalition does, because I feel like the work we do is very, very important.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I want you to know in the Oak Harbor Cottages, just this year, we have had 23 families stay in the cottages, the emergency shelter. That is the equivalent of 52 people.
Wow.
52 people, 23 families that were homeless, had no place to be, and they came and stayed in our emergency shelter for up to 90 days while we figured out why are you homeless and what can we do to help you. And along with them being there and having a safe place to just call home for a little bit, we helped with taxi and bus passes so they could get around. Childcare, legal assistance. Probably a half a dozen of those families had legal things that needed to be resolved, and so we've been able to help with that. Mental health counseling. So I'm really proud of what we do for the folks that are in those cottages and the time that we get to spend with them and the difference it makes in their life.
And I thought it was fun when Milton came. Milton Collins is actually on our board of directors.
Yep.
And I think he is the economic development director of Lindsborg. So
Yes.
that was really fun to have him on our podcast talking about all the amazing things they're doing up in Lindsborg. It's really kind of cool if you go up there and see all the things, all the subdivisions, and
Yeah.
they have all kinds of ideas and all kinds of things that are going on. And so that was fun. I loved talking to Milton, and it's fun because he is on our board of directors, and he's just this really provides good information and
Yeah.
really cares about what he's doing.
Yeah, the housing that they're developing up there is state of the art, and honestly, any community that needs housing, just go check out what they're doing. And I know they'd be happy to visit with you about how they're doing that. And another person that we had come and talk that's on our board,
Oh, yeah.
pulling these guys in,
Yeah.
is Cheyenne with DCF, and his specialty there is job training. And I was amazed at how they meet with the people that are their clients and they figure out what education do you have? What job do you see yourself doing? What's your dream job? And how can we get you in a position and a place of employment that you love going to work every day? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And remember, he said if it didn't work out, then they go back and they start again and they don't give up on you. They just keep working with you.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
What's really fun about that is if we can get some of our families with their high school diplomas, it's amazing that just having that high school diploma makes a big difference.
It does.
In trying to find a job. So we really encourage people to get that diploma. It's not hard anymore. There's all kinds of ways that you can get that. So that's really tied to that job market, is being able to have a high school diploma and then going to Cheyenne, and then there's lots of opportunities.
I think it's very interesting. As you get older, you realize when your parents said, stay in school, you realize how really truthful that advice was. Because if you don't have the education, you really limit yourself in what you're able to do. I'm just glad we have the resources in McPherson where if you don't have your high school diploma, you can get it free of charge.
Yep.
And we have people that'll work with you on that. And then DCF has Cheyenne and people like him that can step in and help you figure out what kind of job do you want to do, not what kind of job do you have to do.
Yeah, it's good. I've been lucky for many years that I can come to work every day and love what I do.
Yeah.
It's stressful sometimes, but I love what I do, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. We have the Reuse It Center. We had Levon.
Oh, they were fun.
And Shula. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And they're very passionate about what they do. They have a great store out there. If you haven't been to the Reuse It Center, you really need to go and see what they have. I mean, Levon's favorite word is let's try it.
Yeah.
If somebody brings something in. So, I mean, that doesn't mean bring anything in. That's what he made sure that I knew to say.
Yes.
But wow, they support a lot of the nonprofits,
They do.
including us. They give us a check every once in a while, and that is really helpful.
Yeah.
To have those donations come into to us as a nonprofit, and to be able to use those for the things that we need for our families and for the organization. So we appreciate them a lot. They donate. I can't remember the amount. There's a huge amount. How much was it? Like $300,000 or something? I might be wrong.
But
I remember it was a lot of money that they were giving away to other nonprofits in our county, and I think even beyond a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And nonprofits, they really struggle to get the funding they need. So when you have an organization like Reuse It, where their goal is to bring in things that keep it out of the dump, bring in things that can be resold, and then they resell that, and then they use that money to help the other nonprofits.
Right.
It's pretty amazing. Okay, so one that I was really surprised by was our conversation with Michelle at the animal shelter, and I did not realize our local animal shelter has cremation services if you lose your pet.
Yeah.
And you don't have space to bury it in your yard, especially if you're a renter. Landlords might not want you digging up a hole to bury your dog.
Probably not. Yeah, probably. Yeah. We have a whole cemetery out at our place.
I know.
Where all the different
too.
Animals have been. And so it was nice when we lost one of our animals that we were able to have them cremated there and then buried the box or spread the ashes instead of having to bury this giant dog. I mean, we have all kinds of animals. We have a bird that we lost. We have all these animals in our pet cemetery. I hope the movie Pet Sematary never comes to life. But so that they do a lot of great things there as well. So if you want a pet, I always recommend that people go to a shelter to get a pet.
Yes.
I think they try not to put any animals down if at all possible.
Yeah.
They work really, really hard. So it's nice to have that. And again, so why is that connected to housing? Well, a lot of families that we serve have animals.
They do.
So that's always a challenge for us because in our shelter, unfortunately, we cannot allow pets just because their time is so short in that home. And I don't know what is going on with the next family. There could be allergies. There could be all kinds of things that are there. And so we can't allow that because we have to consider who's coming next.
Well, and then to find a rental. Find a landlord that is willing to let you have a pet. Gets more and more difficult, especially on the size of the pet. So I just really appreciated the animal shelter and that conversation to know the services they offer and how they are there to help families with a pet. If you're looking for a pet, they'll take your name and the breed that you're wanting. And you can also then surrender animals if you're not able to care for them any longer.
So Prairie View was here. That was a good one, too. We were able to give them a tour of the Oak Harbor cottages. And I think they're doing something in Newton to do with tiny homes. I'm not sure. They have a community up there, though. I know if you are one of their clients and you struggle with housing, I believe that you can go into one of their homes if there's availability. So that was really good because, with housing, there's all these different groups of people that are homeless. We have people who are just families that have really come on hard times. We have people who've had addiction issues. We've had people with mental health issues. We have special needs. We have adults. There's all these different populations that we serve. And it's hard to serve all of them. So it'd be hard for us to try to serve all of them. But to have all these different groups that are serving different populations who have that expertise is really amazing. And I'm really happy that they are doing something now with the mental health side and the housing side of it, because I think it goes a long way in being able to really help people who have specific issues to be housed.
Well, and they currently have a shared living available, and they were starting to build some sort of small houses, I believe, on the side that would be not group living. So I know Megan was excited about, where they're going with that. I don't know when that's going to be ready, but yeah, it was exciting to hear from them. Another person that I absolutely loved hearing from was Leslie Gwynn with CASA.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one, too.
Court-appointed special advocates. I had no idea the number of people in our state, because remember, they covered a large area of the state that needed special advocates to be there for the children, and the hours and just everything that those volunteers give to make that program work. Just so proud that we have, an office here in town where people can get the help they need.
And I will give a plug for this. All these different places that we are mentioning all need volunteers. So if you're bored, I don't know who's bored. I'm never bored. But if you're bored and you want something to do, every one of these organizations really needs volunteers to help with different things.
Yeah.
Child advocacy or delivering meals to seniors or all these different groups here need volunteers. So I would encourage you, if you're feeling sorry for yourself today or for some reason, whenever I'm not feeling good about something, I go help somebody else, and that always takes care of my little problem, whatever it is. And I realize that what I'm going through is probably nothing compared to somebody else.
Yeah. My mom used to always say, if you want a friend, be a friend. So that has a way of coming back. Okay, so then we kind of went in a more legislative type conversations a couple different times. We visited with Senator Michael Fagg. He actually joined us after our housing conference, and we kind of visited with him. He's brand new elected, so he was trying to figure out where his place was going to be.
Yeah. He's not brand new elected. He's brand new elected for us.
For us.
Yeah, he's out of El Dorado. And I believe that they changed the lines, and so now he's covering part of McPherson County. And I have to say, I was really impressed with him. The first time we met him, he wanted to go over to the cottages and see him right away.
Right then.
So he showed up right away after that legislative coffee that we attended and was very impressed with what the work that we were doing, trying to figure out how we could do this in other cities. It is pretty impressive that that the churches came together and did this project. It's like, I love to brag about it wherever we go because people are like, you did what? What?
Yeah. It kind of blows their minds.
It's pretty mind-blowing. But anyway, so I was really impressed by him and he seems to be genuinely cares for the people in his district.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do a commercial for him or anything, but it just feels very genuine to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then we did spend some time talking about the legislative hearing that they had, where they were talking about the housing programs that are already being funded through KHRC, where those funds are going, how they're being spent, whether they're being spent, whether the programs are actually a good fit for Kansas. So you and I had a couple of podcasts where we talked about what they had been going over on that. And it's just really interesting to me. I never in a million years thought I would be one of these people that was informed about what's going on in my legislature.
I know, right?
And here I find myself constantly in either conversations with people or in some sort of podcast or a Zoom call where those types of issues are being discussed. You just never know. I'm just going to put it out there. If you're interested in housing and the things that are going on with Kansas and across the nation for homelessness, by all means, inform yourself, pay attention to what's being done legislative-wise. You can a lot of times find their hearings on YouTube, and you can really inform yourself. So,
yeah, that was great. I think I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time they've ever had a meeting like this about housing with all these different legislators in the same room. They've talked about different housing issues. Like we were at one of them was I can't remember what that was called. The Social Reform Committee or something.
Yes.
What was that called? The social something. I don't remember. But anyways, we talked our way into that, and we got to be a conferee, or I think that's what it's called. That was fun. But anyways, that was the first time that we had ever done it. But as well, they've talked about it in different committees in Topeka. Mm-hmm. I think it was the Financial Committee, the other one I was at. I don't remember. So now they're taking this and putting it into one thing where all these different groups are together and not just this committee's hearing that and this committee's hearing that. Sometimes things get lost when you're doing things like that. So I am very excited and have hope that maybe because they are seeing that housing is really an issue, that it's keeping us economically as a state, hurting us economically, because if I want to bring my business to Kansas and you don't have enough people for me to fill the jobs, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
And so that hurts us desperately. And if I do bring a company to your community and you don't have enough housing, maybe I bring all these high-dollar workers who then push out some of our low-income families. So, it's all interconnected. And that's the thing that we continue to say is this is interconnected. It's not this and that and everything. It's all mental health, and all of it is connected. So if we want to start really addressing what is going on with affordable housing and homelessness and all of that, we have to figure out how to pull everybody together.
Yeah, absolutely. So that also then brings us to senior living. And we talked with Natalie about Northgate Manor and what they offer for the seniors in our community. I love that they and Edinburgh Manor both realize that seniors are on a fixed income. It always makes me a little nervous when I hear about older folks that are going to sell their house and begin to rent, because then you really have no control over your housing component and the expense that goes along with that. I get it. It's nice to not have to mow the yard or be worried if there's a repair that needs to be made. But we have talked with seniors over the past year and a half or so where they're being priced out of where they live. And so these two facilities give the capability for seniors to have their place to live and their income, the rent based upon their income. So I love the work that they do. I'm constantly referring seniors to them to find out if they have a spot for them.
Well, and then just recently we spoke about expungements and the importance that has on people who are trying to find housing, trying to find jobs. I mean, you hear, well, go find a job. Why don't you just go find a job? Well, if I have some type of a record, like a felony, you can't just work anywhere.
Yeah.
They're not going to hire you. You can't have that good job. And sometimes it's hard to get into affordable housing. You don't qualify for things. So expungements are huge. And we had that expungement clinic, and we had, you said 17 people got expungements with huge
37 felonies or whatever were taken care of that day, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, that was a great day. And from everything we understand, the attorneys that worked that were just absolutely amazing to work with. They made people feel safe and comfortable and had no judgment, which is huge when you go to get help. Sometimes I've experienced this in my past, is where you feel judged.
Yeah.
And so there was no judgment there. So that's kind of a wrap-up. Did we forget anybody?
Well, I think that the only other thing would be if a person wants to make a donation.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
Because, nonprofits are always needing additional money, and we are a nonprofit. So if you appreciate the work we're doing, if you feel like what we're doing makes a difference in our community, and you would like to give a donation, you can mail that to our office at 1826 14th Avenue. You can go to our website, McPhersonHousingCoalition.org. There's a donate button. We just appreciate everybody in our community that supports McPherson Housing Coalition and helps us with the projects that we try to do. Another thing we didn't talk about, but we have talked about it over numerous podcasts, is Brush Up Mac. That is another way that people can help us. So along with our housing programs, we're always looking for donations and volunteers to help with that program.
So I think that's it for today. We just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. If you would be interested or know someone who would be interested on being on Housing for Good, drop us a line. Please leave a review so we know how we're doing. Or maybe we're not discussing enough housing, or maybe it's too much housing, although it is Housing for Good.
That's true.
You can drop that at housingforgood@mcphersonhc.org.
We just appreciate you listening to us, and we'll see you next year.
Yep. Thank you for listening to Housing for Good. Have a great day.
Merry Christmas.